A lot of concerns from Nigerians about what happens in the 2017 budget. We're still putting it in context, and we're trying to find out what is in the budget for you. Let's cross over to Abuja studios. The research analyst from Dexter Analytics is standing by there to talk to us a little bit about the budget 2017. Adebayo, Bakare, the 7.3 trillion naira budgets. Good morning, and thanks for coming through on the program.
Good morning, Boston. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I'm sure you're listening to the conversation that the days of 6,000 naira per bag for rice is gone. So do you think there's something in the budget 2017 that would perhaps impact prices of goods and services for the better?
Not really, because basically we are considering the effect of the federal government budget on the household. And when we look at the budget, the bulk of the budget, although recurrent, it's targeted at paying salaries. So none is really targeted towards providing subsidies for petrol. For instance, there's a very high chance that petrol prices will rise, and that will affect food prices, which is more hardship for the average consumer. So not directly, there's no nothing in the budget, expenditure line that should ease the pressure on food prices.
Okay, in terms of overall, the look of the budget, what the president presented, what the minister for budgets and planning also broke down early in the week, what's your analysis? What does he reveal in terms of putting the numbers, put them in the machine, grill it together, using the analytics to arrive at what?
Yeah, the budget is quite a promising one. Quite optimistic. We have a 20% increase over what we had in 2016. But I think we should look beyond the numbers here, because in 2016 was a very challenging year. We had the valuation of the naira from 197 naira pegged to $1 to 285. Finally, it's settling at 305. So in real terms, the budget is actually lower than what we had in 2016. Now, let's set that aside. Now, what has changed between 2016, January 2016, when we had the budget deliberations, and now? Not really much has changed. When we look at the revenue is very, very optimistic. We are targeting 4.94, about 1.9 trillion from oil. While oil is good because we have a realistic exchange rate set for the budget at $42.5 per barrel. Do we have the capacity to broker a deal with the militants that will ensure that we keep our production at levels that will let us, enjoy the benefits of rising oil prices due to the recently brokered OPEC deal? That is not too promising. Then we move on. We look at the independent revenues. In 2016, we budgeted about 2 trillion from independent revenues, which are, requirements from MDAs to deposit into consolidated revenue fund. But we had just about 200 billion collection till Q3. So that was disappointing too. Then when you look at the company's income tax, you look at the VAT, you look at customs, trade is not doing well, companies are not doing well, tax is reducing. So the revenue side looks a bit over-optimistic. So in a way that, understates the deficits. So it's not too good. The expenditure on the side, we have 30% on capital expenditure, which is quite good, but it's still, short of what is required in the economy. We have reports that put our infrastructure deficit at over $300 billion, and we are spending just about 2 trillion on capital infrastructure. So that is not too promising at the moment, Boston.
Okay, Adebayo, let's spend the next 2-3 minutes of this interview to talk about the common man, and I'm going to go down the street here, the street level. What's in this budget for the common man?
Okay, for the common man directly, I will say those who are hired by the federal government can expect that they will be paid, because the common or the average man is hired by private individuals, by the SMEs, over 37 million SMEs we have in Nigeria, by state governments who have a backlog of arrears they are yet to settle. So the direct impact from the budget to the common man for now is the fact that they are going to get paid their salaries if they are employed by the federal government. Apart from that, they have the special intervention. We know that that was supposed to start last year, where you have transfers to the poor and all that, but that didn't quite kick off last year because of some issues, and I'm not sure they've sorted that out. We've not had anything from the Vice President's office in regard to that. So directly, there is nothing for the common man. If at all we're going to see, what we're going to see is provisions were not made for subsidy, petrol subsidy, so there's a high chance that inflation will rise as a result of that. The exchange rate is unrealistic. There's a high chance that prices of food items will rise also. So directly, maybe salaries, they get salaries, and if they can pay the contractors that are being owed billions of naira, maybe they get income from that way. But that is, I think, the only way we see that the household or the consumers can benefit from the budget directly, which is through cash transfers and salary payments.
I was just trying to, thank you for that, for putting that nicely. I was just trying to find what you called a realistic view of things. You know, when you put your risk-return analysis on the table and you look at what you get and what you may not likely get, and you just put the rest on hope and faith and whatever may happen moving on. So I was just getting, what is the realistic view? What do you think will go up in 2017? And I have a few items. You talk about petrol prices, electricity prices, prices of food and services, school fees and things like that. Give us a list from your analysis.
Okay, from our analysis, we feel the prices of food items will go high. The prices of household energy items will go high. That is talking of kerosene, talking of petrol. The prices of electricity will go up. School fees, then don't forget health to drugs. It's quite hard to get drugs these days. So we believe that will also be challenging. The prices of that will go up. So, I mean, those are just general view, fashion items, school fees. I mean, prices of everything is likely to go up. Meanwhile, we must caution that the numbers might look quite pretty next year. This year we've had inflation at 18.5 due to the high base we have this year. So next year you might hear on the news that inflation is trending downwards. That might not really reflect what is happening to households and in the market in general. So prices are likely to go up, but official figures will likely understate that. So it's not looking bright, Bosun.
Adebayo, thank you very much for coming through from Dexter Analytics. We appreciate your time today on the program.